He hasn't put out anything today? Nothing? No content? Not even a pinch? Not even a speck? He didn't put out anything today, huh? Okay. Hello, viewers. Another beautiful day. Yeah, hope your 5 senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. Good. Alright. See, you gamers, you can't sue Microsoft again. You're like, huh? Listen to this. It says here, Microsoft settles antitrust lawsuit with gamers challenging $69 billion Activision Blizzard deal. Says here, Microsoft settled on Monday an antitrust lawsuit consisting its $69 billion acquisition deal to buy Activision Blizzard in 2022. Details of the settlement were not disclosed in the court document obtained by the Wrap. The suit was filed in California federal court by a group of video gamers across multiple states objecting to the deal. And just weeks after the Federal Trade Commission efforts to block the deal from closing, citing concerns of monopolistic business practices. Then it says the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice, meaning it cannot be filed again, with support from both sides following the settlement agreement. The initial filing claimed that Microsoft's highly publicized deal to acquire video game production company Activision Blizzard could lead to the company canceling premium offering, prioritizing Xbox release, and raise prices for consumers. And then it says more to come. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Going once, going twice. Going twice. Oh, here we go. The Wrap has it. Here we go. It says Microsoft's antitrust lawsuit. Microsoft settles antitrust lawsuit with gamers challenging Activision Blizzard deal. It says players across multiple states cry foul following the 2022 acquisition just weeks after the FTC efforts to block it from closing. Then it says Microsoft settled on Monday an antitrust lawsuit consisting its $69 billion acquisition to buy Activision Blizzard in 2022. Details were not disclosed in the court documents obtained by the Wrap. The suit was filed in California federal court by a group of video gamers across multiple states objecting to the deal. And just weeks after the Federal Trade Commission efforts to block the deal from closing, citing concern of monopolistic business practices, the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice, meaning it cannot be filed again, with support from both sides following settlement. The initial filing claimed that Microsoft's highly publicized deal to acquire video game production company Activision Blizzard could lead to the company cancel premium offering, prioritizing Xbox release, and raise prices for consumers. And then it says particular scrutiny was placed on how Activision acquisition would boost the standing of Microsoft Game Pass subscription service, which has seen its subscriber base increase by 10 million gamers since the merger, with offers of bonus items for Activision Blizzard games like Call of Duty and Overwatch. If played on Game Pass platform, Microsoft has used the titles now in its portfolio to attract new customers, while rising prices for the premium form of Game Pass from $16.99 a month to $19.99 a month. As time passes, Microsoft continued to increase its market power. Prices have increased, game continues to be canceled, development capacities continue to dismiss, and Game Pass continues to trend towards a monopoly, wrote attorney Joseph Severi in a court filing. And then it says Microsoft isn't the only major player in the gaming that has faced lawsuit over anti-competitive claim. In August, 4 individuals filed a class action lawsuit against Valve, the company behind games like Half-Life and Deadlock, which has become the market leader in PC gaming through its distribution platform. In the lawsuit, Valve was accused of anti-competitive practices by charging developers a percentage of sales of games sold the platform, leading to cost passes on to consumers, as well as clause preventing developers from selling games on other distribution platform at a lower price or with other exclusive add-ons item. And then it says more to come, and that is the end of the article. So yeah, you can't file against Microsoft. As far as Activision Blizzard goes, the deal is closed, and Activision Blizzard is under Microsoft umbrella. And this article even talk about Valve facing a lawsuit, you know. So basically, no company, no matter how big you are, is exempt from a lawsuit. And you know, going to court has its challenges, you know. So you win some cases and you lose some, you know. So yeah, I mean, you know, with lawyers or without. But you know, the video game industry moves on. Games are still being made. Games are still being developed. There's movements happening behind the scenes that will happen in 2025, and we will see it for ourselves. And some games, you know, that were supposed to be released this year, they're moving it to next year. So you know, you can't just put all your eggs in one basket. You know, you just gotta spread it out. So Microsoft, the Activision Blizzard deal, it was big. You know, Activision Blizzard, you know, was up for grabs. It was really up for grabs when you really look at this. Anybody with big pockets could have gotten them. Whether it's Amazon, whether it's Google, even probably Tencent could have tried at it. You know, there was of course there was Comcast that could have bought Activision Blizzard. You know, Facebook name was mentioned in the situation, so you know, once their name was mentioned, and you realize how big this was, you know. So to me, Microsoft was right for getting Activision Blizzard. You know, any company with big pockets, meaning money, could have gotten them. So they were just up for grab, and Microsoft, you know, beat everybody to it. You know, so it was on a first come, first served basis. So I mean, they went through their challenges with the Activision Blizzard deal. You know, even getting resistance from Sony, but then Sony even signed up for a 10-year contract. Microsoft is giving out 10-year contracts. Gave out some 10-year contracts to the likes of EE, Ubitus, Boosteroid, even Nintendo. Yeah, so you might see Call of Duty on the Switch too. You know, so yeah. You know, like the ones that were on the ones that they missed out on, probably all of them. You know, the ones that they were supposed to update it on the Wii U, but they held out on the Wii U because they were so stubborn by not giving up the 3DS. So you might see some Call of Duties on the Switch too. But Microsoft was giving out 10-year contracts, to expand the Game Pass network. You know, it's like they were putting their little nodes all over the place. I don't know if you've ever played Unreal Tournament or 2004 Onslaught, where you have the power core and then you have the nodes. So Game Pass is like the power core, but it's being supported by Windows, and then your nodes are like the 10-year contracts that you give out. So Microsoft was planting their seeds all over the place, which was a good move. And even within the court case, uh, you know, uh, Microsoft got Ubisoft involved in it. Now, they couldn't. The FTC in the UK wouldn't let Microsoft absorb Ubisoft, because they say it needs to be after 10 years. Then that could happen. But then you get to find out that Ubisoft was involved with Tencent before. Well, now Tencent is back at it again. So yeah, Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard, was a good move for them. It was their turn. It was their turn. So Nintendo had their shot, Sony had their shot. So they were, Microsoft seized the opportunity while they seen it. Because they have Game Pass, they had ZeniMax, but Bethesda, and they needed something more. So Activision Blizzard fixed that. So when they say when Sean Layden says Game Pass is not sustainable, that statement is out the window now. Now that they got Activision Blizzard, but they went through some hurdles, some battles for that, battles to get Activision Blizzard, like Phil, I think it was Satya Nadella or Phil Spencer who said that it was worth it. It was worth that the deal got some pushback. So yeah. But the gamers that filed the lawsuit, to me, I don't think they really understood where the game industry was going. I don't think they realized that it was Microsoft turning out to run the game industry. They didn't realize that that while Sony was trying to play hardball with Microsoft, that there were deals out there that Sony could have get, like the AT&T trying to sell off WB Games for about $5 billion. It was sell off WB Games, Rocksteady, and NetherRealm Studios for like $5 billion. That was on the table. Sony could have snatched up that and have Batman to themselves. They missed out on it, but now you hear news of Batman supposed to be a PlayStation exclusive now. But I already talked about it, because I already saw it when the deal was on the table. I said it would have been interesting to see how that would have worked. Sony have both the Spider-Man and Batman license on the same platform. I said that months ago, before the news even came up about a new Batman game being developed. But anyway, Sony missed out on that, so and then they were trying to act like they didn't have shooters, and they had SOCOM, Resistance, and Killzone, and they didn't stay consistent with those three shooters, like how Activision did with Call of Duty. So Microsoft, if they would have stayed consistent with those three shooters, then they wouldn't have to worry about Activision Blizzard. But since Microsoft purchased them, Microsoft snatched the rug from under them, so to speak. So yeah, but the deal was worth it, man. The purchase was worth it. So we're talking Activision Blizzard now. So once Microsoft put Game Pass up, man, with ZeniMax Bethesda from that $7.5 billion deal, Game Pass needed more, and they got it. So yeah, but other than that, man, with the countries that were supporting Microsoft behind this Activision Blizzard deal, with the countries supporting them behind this deal, I knew that the gamers that fought, I already knew the gamers was going to run into a problem, when it comes to when you got so many countries behind Microsoft on this, and then you're going to file a lawsuit now in the middle of all that. You better have some You better have some what's that? Solid concrete evidence, you know, about the deal. And it didn't look like they have it. So yeah. And then on top of that, now once the FTC got grilled in court, that made it even worse now, because now your case that you filed against Microsoft, you have no foot, no foot to stand on. So yeah. I knew the gamers. I mean, they tried, but yeah. And even the UK ran into a problem with this deal. So you know, they were trying to hold out on Microsoft, but they knew once they saw the FTC got grilled the way they did by once they saw the FTC got grilled the way they did by Judge what's her name, what's that, Jacqueline Scott Corley. Yeah, that deal it had to go through, because that deal had to go through, you know, because it was Microsoft's turn, you know, it was their turn. So yeah, you know, because Sony and Nintendo been in the spotlight, and it looked like they were to me, it looked like they weren't even making the game industry move or grow, but you know, move the way it's supposed to. But once Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, the industry started to move. You know, a lot of shakeups happen, but it is growing and it is moving. That's for sure. So yeah, but they did good on this. To tell you the truth, they really did. They really did good. You know, it was their turn, man. You know, and the video game industry really needed. You really needed a subscription service when you really look at this. I mean, the video game industry really needed a subscription service, because I mean, look at all the games look at all the games that came out on all the consoles before Game Pass even came into the picture. It needed to happen, and Sony and Nintendo kept playing with the idea, and then Microsoft is like, okay, we're gonna be the first to do it, and that's what they did, man. They went straight for it and didn't look back. So now, once they did it and made the moves that they made, you see all these subscription services coming from nowhere, you know. So out of the woodwork, so to speak. So it needed to happen, man. And the game industry is doing fine. Now when it comes to live service, some games can be live service, others can't. One of the reasons why Concord failed on the main reason why Concord failed on our Sony is because the PlayStation fans, they didn't purchase the game. They didn't buy it. The game got no support from PlayStation fans. Yeah, you know, PlayStation got a big user base. So if Concord is a PlayStation game, and Concord is a shooter, you would have thought the PlayStation fan would have thrown their support behind it, but no, they didn't. They let the game fail. That's the reason. And then, I remember coming up, like when I was coming up, you know, PlayStation was never known as a console for shooters. They weren't known for that. They were never known for that. They were known for RPGs because of Square Enix. So if you look at the PlayStation versus PlayStation 2 versus Dreamcast, like when it comes to Quake 3, the Dreamcast version of Quake 3 is better than the PlayStation version. So if Microsoft got the keys from Sega to, like, okay, to do video games, right? And then Microsoft comes through the door with Halo, then the Xbox is the place to play first-person shooters. So when it comes to Concord, the reason why that game fails is because the PlayStation fans didn't support it, because their platform is not known for shooters. They're known for RPGs and racing, you know. And if you want to say when it comes to fighting, they were never known for fighting games. The Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn had that. So when it comes to fighting games now, I would give it to Xbox, hands down. But anyway, look, I could sit here and talk all day about this, but look, Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, man, it was good for the industry, man. The industry the industry needed some type of movement to keep going into the next generation. They needed some type of movement, and that's where Game Pass comes in. So yeah, it was a good movement. But those gamers that filed their suit, man, they ran into a problem. Once those countries start to throw their support behind Microsoft, and once the FTC lost, you knew the gamers, they were in trouble, man. So yeah, it's a Game Pass world, and we're living in it right now. So it's got to get used to it, man. So yeah, Microsoft now knows that they have to get games made to keep Game Pass going. So they got their work cut out for them. So we'll see what they do in 2025. But right now, the gamers, they tried, and it didn't go their way. So, well, you live and you learn, and then you move on. But anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy, though. Nice talking to you people. Again, Chris, still Star Wars, Star Trek Flag, Borg, Dark Side. Go. Peace. Oh.